The Paris Olympics have some orange and black flavor, as Ollie Gordon should be the next NFL draftee. 22 other Cowboys are looking to extend or begin their NFL careers, including one that'll shock the nation and maybe make a roster.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visibly on YouTube. Find me personally on X at AllDayOState. Today, we're brought to you by Game Time Tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but do not miss out on your opportunity to have the best in the ticket game today. And make sure you get those tickets to go check out some of these Cowboys that are now looking to extend or begin their NFL careers. There's so many to cover, but naturally this was brought up because Ollie Gordon was recently projected as the number 19 overall pick in the first round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers via Bleacher Report. There should be several publications that have Ollie Gordon up towards this area of drafting, but it's nice to finally see some of it slowly matriculate out. After 1,732 yards, 21 touchdowns, another 330 receiving with another tutty on top of it, this is the perfect running back that should be viewed with a little bit more of a wide receiver aspect ability to him, which is now very crucial in the NFL. The third down back is something that is completely unnecessary when you have a running back like Ollie Gordon that can already do a little bit of everything at such a highly advanced level. At 6'1", 208 pounds, he was somebody that was already pretty good size coming in. And then he blew up to 6'2", 224 pounds with a certified 4.45 40. Patient visions, power, speed, hands, agility, and the willingness to pick up blitzes are what I think should put him in the next pedestal for available draftees. Yes, he made a dumb decision, but it's ridiculously hypocritical and the sanctimonious nature of all the negative Nancy narratives that to me are completely bothersome. He, I think, should be able to use that to his advantage this year. He is now on a mission, and he will not be worrying about only getting 6 carries the first 3.5 games of the season like last year. Yeah, he'll probably carry less, but he'll average more and punch his ticket to New York right around our Big 12 title and CFP celebration season. Another NFL Cowboy that I expect to nail the mark on this one. The most missed Cowboy of 2023, in my opinion. Well, it could be twofold. You could say the Johnson combo. Specifically here, we're talking about Leon Johnson III. Josiah Johnson hasn't got a call back from an NFL team to make another appearance, but I think it's only a matter of time before he gets his next opportunity. But Leon is in the midst of trying to seize his moment. Leon Johnson is the right guy at the right time, in the right system, while also being close to home, a.k.a. this is fate. Leon making this team to some degree is destiny. Now go check out our buddies at Locked On Chargers, as they have covered almost every wide receiver on the roster, maybe some of them not named Leon Johnson III. The LA Chargers have what we like to call on this show a bona fide, certified dude. We should always remember as Oklahoma State country that with Leon Johnson, this 2024 season that we're all anticipating probably isn't even possible. If Leon had any microscopic signs of being selfish or a bad teammate, he would not have willingly trashed his own red shirt to then go put up 132 yards the next day. His BYU second half performance was critical to Oklahoma State having the success they did last season. He had a couple of bedlam catches that physically looked impossible for 90% of other wide receivers. Well, not Leon. There would be no Arlington. There would have been no Big 12 title game against Texas without Leon Johnson III. There There would be no 2024 team with 21 returning starters and 91% of the roster either, because this team absolutely probably doesn't have the same run-it-back mentality if Leon doesn't burn his red shirt and we say go 8-4. If we do even sniff Arlington, it's only because of what Leon was able to help provide for that wide receiver core. Some of the dudes that we have reporting for NFL camps aren't likely all NFL bound, right? Some of these dudes have lost multiple full seasons already due to injury, right? But these dudes in the 2024 team are risking everything for one more run without the locker room and a youthful, fun, film-loving, rejuvenated Mike Gundy, plus Leon Johnson's willingness to not be selfish. Most of this is not even possible. Leon made a bad business decision by the definition of that business decision by playing those last 4 or 5 games. He did that for the locker room. He did it for the university that we all love to the core. The orange core that should recall number 17 in orange and black giving everything up for the team. Imagine what Leon would have been with a full year of Rob Glass, Casey Dunn, Trayson Wallace, Charlie Dickey, and, of course, Mike Gundy. I saw my buddy the other day, JT, tradition, you're my boy, Blue. But Leon is the epitome of the ideal teammate that was willing to tank his draft stock, knowingly and willingly, with only 5-6 real games worth of film for the betterment of the team. Plus, I mean, he gained like 12, 13 pounds in under 3 months when he first got with Rob Glass. What would his 4.5 40 and his 39-inch vertical look like with that full year, not only with Rob Glass, but in the Oklahoma State system? Who knows? He has a pretty good idea. Rob Glass has a pretty good idea. The Oklahoma State coaches have a pretty good idea, which is why they wanted him to redshirt until it was a necessity for him to be more involved, for us to have any shot of making it to Arlen. He did that. And with all of that, he does have a lot of competition in LA because they currently have 13 wide receivers on the roster that he's competing against. Now, it's a lot of newbies. Only the 6'1", 210-pound former Tennessee wide receiver Josh Palmer is kind of a mainstay, alongside a couple TCU fellows, 6'4", 215-pound Quentin Johnston, and the speedster from TCU as well, Darius Davis. They're returning to LA after the Chargers moved on from their top targets from the 2023 season. They did bring in DJ Chark, who, he's carrying his 213 receptions for over 3,000 yards with him to be a very important veteran piece, and a big 6'3" frame to help Josh Palmer on the opposite side of the field. Darius is a Pro Bowl return man, so he ain't going nowhere, even if he's not one of the top 4 or 5 wide receivers on the roster. Now, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just making a statement that it doesn't matter, because his return game is so good that in order for Leon Johnson III to make the team, he might have to look outside that window. But I think one of the biggest things here for like Quentin Johnston, per se, he's not going to go anywhere either, simply due to size, upside, and his new significantly improved ability to create separation under new wide receiver coach who came over from Seattle, Sanjay Lal. Most recently, Coach Sanjay Lal worked with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. DK has come out and said some phenomenal things publicly about his wide receiver NFL mentor and his route running program that have several of his former athletes, including other guys like Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Gallup, as well as NFL QB Geno Smith, continues to have nice things to say about Sanjay and how he can get guys to unlock the potentials that they didn't know they previously had. He is the route running separation expert that will allow Leon Johnson III to thrive in LA. The main thing he's noticed, Leon, since arriving in LA is just that very thing. Leon's route running and separation has already improved dramatically. Plus, he's 100% healthy. That's pretty beneficial as well. Another rookie that has been pretty consistent and a pretty consistent battle buddy for Leon thus far is Ladd McConkey from Georgia. He is likely, to show up and be productive, as is Johnston. But with that Johnston already on the roster, there's only room for one Johnson. Sorry, Cornelius. Michigan was great for you. The national title will live on forever. They drafted you late, but those 15-plus drops recently in college are something that Leon will not have to overcome. Jalen Johnson from East Carolina, great player, great story, maybe even better dude, but he's just the wrong Johnson at the wrong time. Sorry, my guy. And I said this on the day of the draft. I think I tweeted it out, so I'll say it again. Leon is bigger, longer, stronger than Brennan Rice. Plus, he has the vertical needed to be better than Brennan Rice. But I'm not knocking Brennan. I did go back and peek at the film before I did this video. He is very good, and he will likely make the roster to some degree, even if it's not just because of pure talent. Leon is the guy that has been undervalued and underutilized since literally high school. High school did not use him near enough, nor did they use him at the right spot. The Z position likely is that right spot for him. And in that Z spot, he does have to compete against Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston. But there is room on the depth chart for another dude. And since they only have a couple returning guys and they have like 8 new dudes and like 4 or 5 rookies, this is an opportunity for Leon Johnson to do the daggone thing and not just be out there as a warm body. He should make at least bare minimum the practice squad, which means that he's better than 6 of the wide receivers that they currently have on the roster. I believe that to be the case. And Sanjay Lal likes tall receivers. I mean, I mentioned Amari Cooper and DK Metcalf and Michael Gallup. And those are big dudes. Those are your quintessential Z receivers that can make a name for themselves at the next level. And then you have the other guy at the X that, DJ Chark. He knows what he's doing. He's going to be fine. We've had several other NFL Cowboys trying to make their way. Before we get to them, I wanted to throw a few little nuggets that I also noticed. They really like TCU in LA, or at least they did previously, because Max Duggan is on the quarterback 3 deep. I also noticed former Cowboy, most recently, he spent the last year with Notre Dame, Thomas Harper, trying to make the team in LA as a strong safety, and old school Sooner Tony Jefferson is still out here in the NFL doing the daggone thing. Let's talk about some more of these Cowboys, as well as a big-time contract for a Cowboy that's been kind of bouncing around, but he bounced around back to the same team he came from, so that's typically a pretty good situation for him to be in. Meanwhile, I need to remind you fine folks out here that Game Time Tickets is the bee's knees for a reason. As football season is kind of creeping around the corner here, it's still baseball time. You still got the ability to go check out the best in the business for your local Major League Baseball. This is the best way to get tickets faster and for free. Game Time has an app that allows the pricing to go down the closer you get to first pitch. With last-minute killer deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of you buying your tickets. This isn't just about sports either. We got to remember, music, comedy, and theater, local events near you are also applicable with the Game Time app. The flash deals save you even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or the event. The all-in pricing allows you to know the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. My favorite, the seat view. It is a panoramic view of the seat in the app before you buy. So there's no ridiculousness of you getting put in the wrong section, the wrong seat, none of that. And best thing yet, the Game Time guarantee. It means that they will credit you back 110% of the difference. So make sure that you take the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets or any other ticket with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, make sure you create that account. Redeem that code, LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Oklahoma State doesn't have a guarantee that most of these dudes will make the roster, but as we'll jump into, several of these Cowboys are just looking to continue their careers as opposed to, basically starting a new career. Mason Rudolph is one of those guys that we definitely have to talk about because I think Mason has a pretty good opportunity in Tennessee. We've covered this to some degree before, but Will Levis started the year with phenomenal numbers. He unfortunately ended the year with not so phenomenal numbers. And it is my belief that if that happens again this season, that'll be an opportunity for Mason Rudolph to jump up and take that spot. Mason Rudolph's good enough to do so. And the veteran wide receiver room mixed in with some of the youth that they have around him, I think is yet another reason we should all be excited about that. The big contract is for our main man, Emmanual Ogbah. So, I did rip on Emmanuel Ogbah a little bit this previous season because he didn't seem to be as aggressive as previously. And whenever he did play in some of the big playoff games, to me, it looked like he was, tired, lagging, dragging behind. But he just signed a pretty massive contract. I believe it was a little over $5 million for him to come back. And he's instantly already on the 2 deep as a defensive end. So clearly he's got a lot left in the tank. And I think that if he finds another effort layer, we won't be done seeing Emmanuel Ogbah. Jalen Warren, right, he's another one of these that was vying last year for playing time at the RB1 spot with Najee Harris. He did rush for 784 yards to go alongside his 5.3 yards per clip last season. I expect it's only a matter of time before he does, in fact, become either RB1 in Pittsburgh or somewhere else because he's kind of that guy. Tay Martin is still at San Francisco. He's still looking to kind of get himself more squarely in the picture of getting more playing time. Therefore, he'll be something to watch because he's going to have to battle for it. It's not going to be given to him. Christian Holmes. This DB was really hot early on 2 years ago with the Commanders, and then he dealt with a pretty legitimate injury. He was able to come back last season and the last third of the season to pick up kind of right where he left off, which is why he's going to be competing for a starting spot. Worst case scenario, he's squarely in that 2 deep. Somebody who's not squarely in 2 deep is going to have to make some waves. Here's going to be A.J. Green. He was picked up by the Vikings in January after spending all of last season with the Cleveland Browns. He did kind of revolve primarily on the practice squad, but he'll get another opportunity to compete here. Somebody who did not have to compete at practice squad as a rookie last year was Jason Taylor II, the DB with the Rams. He's still doing the daggone thing. The 7th round pick enters his 2nd season as an NFL safety, and he's still number 2 on the depth chart coming into year 2. Anthony Goodlowe, these young guns that came over from Tulsa, was very, I would say, instrumental in the galvanization from the leadership perspective inside the locker room. Without Anthony, I don't know that we get where we get. It's good. It's cool for him to have a couple buddies with the LA Rams. One of those obviously being Jason Taylor II to help him show him the ropes. The other one being the kicker, Tanner Brown, who's currently projected to be the backup for LA to starting kicker Joshua Carty. But I think Tanner's going to have a really good opportunity. Tyler Lace is looking to take another step up into the roster for the Jaguars. Another Jaguar that is kind of a newer Jaguar is Trey Flowers, the former Seattle Seahawk that came in to kind of be the next coming of the Legion of Doom. Did go to the Cincinnati Bengals. I did watch a couple games of him playing there. It'll be pretty cool for him to get this opportunity because he's been very, very productive, but he's now classified as a longer in the tooth veteran. So it'll be pretty interesting. It's good to see Josh Seals in the NFL doing the daggone thing after the tumultuous start that he had to his time as a Philadelphia Eagle. He is now an Indianapolis Colt, and he'll be competing right away here for a left guard spot. The main man, Malcolm Rodriguez, played in every single game last season, recording double-digit tackles, including a 6 tackle and 1 interception performance against the San Fran 49ers in the NFC Championship game. He will enter training camp as the Lions' backup at middle linebacker. But we all know he played a little bit of fullback because even the Lions know he's just too good not to be on the field. Tyron Johnson, the former Charger. Maybe it's a good thing he's not a Charger anymore. It opens some room for Leon Johnson III as Tyron Johnson takes his talents to the Dallas Cowboys. He has been somebody who's bounced around a lot. This is his 11th landing spot in the NFL. But, if he can kind of carve out a role, last season he was a starter and he had a bunch of drops. And then he wasn't a starter anymore, which was uncharacteristic of him whenever he was with Oakland and San Diego. So hopefully Tyron Johnson gets his old abilities back together with the Dallas Cowboys this season. A former Dallas Cowboy who now gets to rock the orange and black after leaving Dallas, going to Cincinnati, is linebacker Devin Harper. Devin Harper is going into his second season now as a Cincinnati Bengal. And he does have a pair of tackles from this previous season, so that's something to put in his belt. We remember the rave reviews he had with the Dallas Cowboys, right? A lot of people didn't even project him to make the roster. He made the roster. He's done a lot in just a couple of years. Another individual who's done a lot but has been around for a little bit now is Mason Rudolph, another LA Charger that has taken his talents elsewhere to the Chicago Bears. Going to wear the navy blue and orange. Mason Rudolph, really needs to fight for a roster spot here. But we all know that he's definitely got the talent to do so. And he's got another former Cowboy next to him. Tevin Jenkins is entering his third year as the starting left guard for the Chicago Bears. He went from left tackle to right guard, left guard, kind of bounced around. But now he's become a mainstay, as they would call it, maybe a staple of that offensive line after the 3 seasons. I expected this season to be no different. If he stays healthy, he could have like a Pro Bowl level season. So hopefully you all get to see and experience that. Wouldn't that be nice? Elijah Collins gets to rock the orange and black as well, as he is a Cincinnati Bengal. He was killing it in spring, and he was killing it at the beginning of the season. The problem is he got injured. So in those first few games where we didn't really know who was going to be the bell cow, the leading running back, is right when Elijah started dealing with some injury problems that really lingered for the majority of the season. It's a good thing that he was able to take his Michigan State film, make it applicable at Oklahoma State at least a little bit to help get him into the NFL. He gets to keep rocking the orange and black. Chuba Hubbard not only is entering this season as the guy, he ended up just 98 yards shy of 1,000 yards last season. So this is his team. Is this the year that Chuba eclipses the 1,000-yard marker? And then, of course, we got the Baltimore Raven fellas. Justice Hill, the running back who has been there for a long time, has been kind of the third down running back. Typically, those guys are relegated to other roles or other destinations. But no matter who they've had at running back in Baltimore, which is a long list of insanely, ridiculously good guys, the Ravens have kept him over and over and over. They keep signing him. They keep paying him. They keep paying him more. So whatever he's doing as a Baltimore Raven, as a backup Baltimore Raven, they're treating him like a starter. As far as the creature comforts go of having an NFL career, especially at a running back position, they truly cherish the role that Justice Hill fills for them, which is why they just keep doing it. And then Tylan Wallace. Tylan Wallace, did do a decent amount last season as a return man. And he did end up on some of the ESPN highlight clip type of situations. But he's been more of a role guy. He's been, more of a bottom of the depth chart, 3-team kind of guy. This should be a year for him to do more. I think we should all expect more. I'm sure he expects more. But the walk-off punts are great. Is this the year we see Tylan Wallace do a little bit more as a true wide receiver? I know Greg Roman is now gone, so maybe maybe that has a little bit of a lingering effect, or maybe it's viewed as a positive. Another massive positive is how many Oklahoma State Cowboys and Cowgirls are going to be representing us in the Olympics. Now we'll go over some of these. I will say some of these names I'm going to butcher. All right, so be judgy. That's okay. We're going to start off because he's representing the USA with a 3-year Cowboy, Wyndham Clark. He did leave us for a 4th year. I'm not going to get into that. They have him listed. So go Wyndham, represent Team USA, and we'll appreciate your 3 years in Cowboy country. Victor Hovland. Unfortunately, he's going to be representing Norway, but yeah, he's a phenomenal Cowboy golfer, as is Alex Noren for Sweden. Chris Ventura, also with Victor Hovland for Norway. Chris Ventura is going to be somebody to watch as a Cowboy fan. Maja Starr from Sweden is also playing women's golf. Grace Neville, women's soccer from New Zealand. Alexander Nedoveskayev from Kazakhstan, men's tennis. Jacob Fincham Dukes, Great Britain, track and field Cowboy. Gabija Galvadite, Lithuania, women's track and field Cowgirl. Leva Gums from Lithuania, women's track and field. Ariadne Adam Malanta. Field. Somebody let me know down in the comments section how bad I murdered that one. And then I probably shouldn't murder this one. Chase E. Lee Jackson. Oh, we've seen her. She was having a lot of clips come out of some of her throws over this. That we have today. By the way, thank you for being patient with the internet and whatnot. I tried the hotel. That didn't work. Awesome. All righty, y'all. Well, right here as we wake up. Tomorrow, we do get to get on the road to head back to the great state of Colorado. So we'll be in the studio again soon enough. But until then, I appreciate y'all. You know I love you. As always, God bless. Go Pokes. And thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma. Like it if you like the daggone thing. Dislike it if you don't. Be share, comment, and subscribe. A podcast for people out there. The bricks, the butter, the bread, the foundation, the glue, the cock, whatever you want to call it, you're that. So do what you do. Hit the stars, leave a review. Hopefully you got to see some of the non-blurry. Hopefully. All right, y'all. Later, taters.